Cars are used in many crimes in this country, especially in kidnappings and murders. Total Kickbox, which is a self-defense and kickboxing company, believes it is important to have skills to get you out of a tight spot. The organization, which has been around for more than 4 years, became more prominent after it released a video geared towards women, especially those traveling in cars. The InsipreTT team met with Kwesi Thomas, the founder and head trainer. He says when a woman finds herself in a dangerous situation, they have a very short time to act. With the horrific cases of Andrea Bharatt and Ashanti Riley, he says it is very important for women and men to have some form of self-defense training. Kwesi says what's most important is being emotionally fit in these situations. TKB wants citizens to not just use this time to seek self-defense training, but make it a habit to be aware of your surroundings.
So this episode of InsipreTT, we are at TKB in Ramsingh, which is Total Kickbox, and we're going to share the story of Kwesi Thomas and what they have been doing, especially coming out of the death of Andrea Bharatt while she was in a taxi. And they have been sharing videos on social media where they have been talking and showing ways where women can actually protect themselves in case of a situation where they will be kidnapped to be robbed or, God forbid, murdered. Kwesi, it's a pleasure to be here.
Same here, Otto. How are you going?
I'm fine. So,
nice.
Tell me about TKB and where did this idea come from to, I know the idea would have come from what have occurred with Andrea Bharatt, but in regards to the training and the sort of the skill set, where did it come from?
Right. So TKB, we started roughly like about 4 years ago. Before that, it was just purely like about personal training. And what we realized was, it was just a small network, which was just me and my wife. And what we realized was that a lot of people wanted to do kickboxing, more or less. Right? They had like a desire to do something different with regards to training and fitness. And we decided, instead of going into like a normal, generic personal training or boot camp setting, that we would have done something that had a lot of longevity and a lot of spine to it. So we said, you know what, let's focus on doing a brand that's more focusing on female empowerment. If you look at our logo as well, usually our logo has a woman kicking a bag, usually with combat sports. It's always man.
That's true.
Right? So that was a twist that we kind of like visualized where we wanted our brand to go, which was basically woman empowerment. And in addition to that, we know that protection was part of it, right? Fitness, making when someone comes to our class, they feel good when they leave. So that's basically how we started 4 years ago. We just started as doing small videos. So we know we're talking about YouTube.
Yes.
Right? We just started doing small little videos, and then we started getting mileage. And ironically, we started to do videos, self-defense videos, not as big as this one.
Yes.
Right? But since we started, we did a few like rape scenarios. We did like different like self-defense tips we did, and ironically, those were the ones that always got the mileage, right? And we know that with what happened, I guess with Ashanti and Andrea, the unfortunate circumstances, we know that we had was to take initiative, which, by the way, a lot of challenges we had to get this video out. So we know that it would have helped someone or helped a few people,
So tell me something. What goes into the process of protection? Because I know the video that you all would have released, it showed you guys in the car. And the situation analysis and how to respond. What goes into that thought process? Is it something that you all find the scenarios, or you all work on similar situations that would have occurred to real women?
Well, when it comes to scenario setting with self-defense, there's always gray areas. It's just like when you're walking the road, when you're driving, there's no guarantee that you're going to meet the red light or you're going to meet the same car every day you leave home. So the same thing applies with self-defense, right? With self-defense, it's just like it's always like knowing how to move and when to move. So our setting, I mean, it's more apt because everyone is more concerned about exactly what is happening with, you know, the kidnapping, etc. So
Correct, yes.
we immediately know, okay, if we were going to help other people, we had to position ourselves that it's more appropriate and not just like a random self-defense video, but people could see it and relate, and be in one with what they see and actually apply it. Things I always tell people, once you be emotionally fit, all right? Emotionally fit is, you know, the concept of fight and flight, right? Once you be emotionally fit, whatever negative feelings that you may possibly have at the time, is you know how to be calm,
Yes.
and how to use your senses, your 5 senses, to act appropriately, and that's basically it.
So how women, the response with especially females, because I know we have seen the candlelight vigils, women coming out calling for protection. How has been the response since, you know, the video has been out, and has it been always a more female attracted at TKB? It's been over the roof actually, to the point where we had to team up with a few reputable self-defense companies. Clark's Defensive Solutions. So yeah, the response for what we have seen so far has been exponential. So tell me something, Casey. We have seen the scenario, but in regards of applying real life, have you in any of your participants or people who come part who have been taking TKB training, have they ever experienced a situation where they would have to enact it?
Well, funny thing is, thankfully no.
That's good.
Thankfully no. But you know, always have to be ready, right? Like me personally as well. Like I leave home, like I would leave home and be thinking if something was supposed to happen. Like if I go in a restaurant and someone is pulling a gun to the waiter, or if I waiting to pay my bill in one of those phone stores, and it's just like it's not business as usual, or I go to the bank. So much different scenarios. I mentally prepare myself, like what I'm going to do. If I'm driving down the road and I see like a man pull a gun to a next person or a cutlass, what I'm going to do with my car? Am I going to freeze up and take on my phone, or am I going to use my car as a form of defense, you know, to prevent any form of death or any injuries that could possibly occur, you know? Yeah. So yeah, you always have to like I always tell all my clients, whether it's our self-defense class or even our kickboxing classes, even though you're getting a sweat, you know, try to challenge yourself to do it correctly, because you may have to use these. You don't want it to happen, but you may have to use it. So you want to make sure you don't just go through the proverbial paces, but you make sure you be in what you're doing, you know?
So how do you expect to now with the demand, how are you going to manage that? I see you told me you're putting out a class, but how are you going to manage it? Because now we have seen this trend in Trinidad, and you know, unfortunately Trinidad it's a real unfortunate to see this kind of trend, but nevertheless, I mean, how are you going to deal with the expectations? Because now we have to have women thinking all the time in regards of how do I act? Yeah,
we always say like practices. I mean, the first one you asked about the feedback. Again, we've partnered with, because there's only so much I could do.
True.
All right.
Yes.
So we partnered with other self-defense companies, company within Trinidad, and that's kind of helping us kind of manage and kind of like leverage everything the feedback that we're having. Yeah, so we're trying our best to kind of meet the demand where it is, because it's quite high. People were asking if there were other attackers, right? And with self-defense, it's sort of, you want to give, but you don't want to give too much, because it's going out to the masses.
True.
So it was deliberately meant that we wouldn't kind of give all the different scenarios. Let's kind of open up the appetite of everyone to know, okay, well, this is what you could, this is an option that you could possibly do. Correct. So I think that was a good platform for us, because within our studio, we try what our clients, our kids, our private clients, what they learn is for them, for their safety. It makes no sense if a criminal knows it, or somebody else knows, like, okay, right, so when I'm going, you're trying, I know what you're going to try, you know? Right, so it makes no sense. So it's more kind of exclusive, where our program and curriculum, when it comes to self-defense, we more deal with non-lethal, right? The people that we're bringing on board, they have more, disarming of guns and different things, which is a whole different level. That's like, joke right there, right? So yeah, we take a progressive step with regards to self-defense. It's always about being aware. It's kind of an elaborated cliche. It's always about being aware and then using your body, situational awareness. We keep pushing the whole concept of emotionally fit, because you can know all the different tactics and techniques, and when the time comes, just like you're so flustered, you don't know how to react, put where and when, right? So I have a saying, a credo, where the only thing faster than fear is muscle memory. So if you think about it, right, if you have fear, if fear is like your main driving force, you can't think properly. But if you have muscle memory, different things. If I'm up on you, right, you know what to strike quick. We're not going to be thinking, okay, all right, what I'm going to do? No, don't push me away, right? So, yeah, muscle memory, how you build muscle memory is continual practice, right? And what we've realized, Otto, is that when it comes to self-defense, it's always, especially within Trinidad, it's a hype and then a drop.
True, that is, because I've now come into ask you.
Yeah, it's a hype and a drop. So it's just like, you gotta hit it when the fire is hot, when the kitchen is hot, and see how much we can educate and help others, right? And hopefully that when that time comes, that they don't have to use it.
So one question, you say we see weapons. Is weapons something you train with, or not weapons? And let me rephrase that. In regards of using normal dated carrying material,
right,
to be used as a weapon. That's what I'm trying to say.
You can anything, even you could use your elbows and knees. You walk around with that every day. These are very deadly pieces of apparatus, right? Some people don't know it, but this is like a gun, like this right here on your knee, right? Those are very dangerous. So, but apart from other third-party objects, you could always, like, once you're in that zone, you could always see a need for it. But it all comes from being, like, emotionally aware, like knowing when to do and what to do. This is what the general idea of what self-defense is, like continual practice, like understanding different things, understanding your boundaries, understanding how you could set boundaries, which is very important. I'll just give you a quick example. There was a time I was training someone early in the morning, 5 a.m. I was move early. And it was outdoors, Mandela Park, and this vehicle was coming up to us. And before he even reached close, I told him, stop, where he is. And immediately there, I set a boundary, right? So when I set a boundary, he know, okay, well, either you have to stay the way you're coming for, or if you continue coming to me, I know I have to prepare myself.
Correct.
Right? Because I already tell you, you're coming into my personal space, stay where you are, and you're still coming. All right? And just to add to that, what we plan to do in the next few weeks is like how giving the woman a voice.
Yes.
Because what happened is, like many other people, is like they stay silent, right? So they'll be in a situation where they're helpless, but they stay silent.
True.
But they could avoid that if you just be vocal.
Correct, yes.
Right? So a woman could be pumping gas in her in a gas station, and a man could be walking by. We always give an assailant the benefit of the doubt, if you know what I mean. Because when you're in a gas station, a public place, you could be going about your business, but if you're feeling concerned and he's walking a little suspicion, probably profiling a bit. But if you're feeling it's better to say something like, sir, could you please not come in? It's better to look like a fool than give them the benefit of the doubt and
something unfortunate happens.
So giving women a voice, that's our main thing right now, understanding, and it's just tied into what our brand is, which is female empowerment. Giving all women a voice of they could speak up, they are powerful, they are strong. They can do what they can do. They can go where they want to go. They don't have to be afraid, right? And even through our fitness kickboxing class and even our self-defense classes that we're going to be offering, it ties in all about female empowerment. And that's all it is about, Yeah.
So, Chrissy, it was a pleasure again. This is one part of it. Now we're going to go into the next step where we're going to actually, create a scenario with Michael, who's behind the camera. And Michael's going to continue the second part of the interview where he's going to talk about a scenario in the scenario, and going to share more you know, just not just beyond the conversation and actually see and feel at some scenario that where you or a female out there might experience and have an idea how to move. And you know, these self-defense classes, you know, ladies, I know a lot of you all have had concerns about, you know, traveling and stuff like that. I mean, these classes, I mean, can actually be beneficial to you and give you the ability to at least flee or fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do some punches now? You're gonna show us?
Gonna try. We could try. All right.
Never felt so alive. Keep working until I die. I know what I want in life, and I'm gonna fight. I've never felt so alive. Keep working until I die. I know what I want in life, and I'm gonna fight.
Welcome back to InsipreTT. You may be asking, why am I sitting in the back seat? Well, I mean, we're trying to bring across more information to you, the audience here on InsipreTT. So I'm speaking here with Kwesi from TKB, right?
TKB, correct.
TKB. And we're trying to give you, the audience, some more information in terms of self-defense and self-awareness. I know you kind of touch the topic of self-defense. And just dive in a little bit deeper. You spoke about something called muscle memory.
Yeah, muscle memory.
How
Correct.
important it is to have a particular muscle memory in scenarios like this?
Well, the thing about it is like muscle memory is so important because it's just like any other given day. You could be traveling, you could be thinking about going to, you're going home, going to school, going by your aunt, your friend. It's a normal casual drive. Let's say if you're in the being a passenger,
yeah.
right? And you're not thinking nothing is gonna happen. So if something does happen, you won't have, if you don't have the muscle memory, you'll be able to react and know how to react when you need to react. So in circumstances like this, muscle memory is like whenever the situation calls upon it, you'll be able to respond. So yeah, so it's very important to have muscle memory in scenarios like this.
Is this scenario something that both men and women could use?
Yeah, exactly. With regards to men and women, I would say, I guess more men might be a situation of a robbery, right? With women might be robbery, rape, murder. I mean, not saying that men as well wouldn't be subjected to these things as well, but I guess it's more different in terms of the outcome, the morbid outcome that could possibly happen. So yeah, so anyone could possibly apply any form of self-defense when it comes to like a car situation.
What was the thinking behind actually presenting a car situation for you and your team? This video that we saw from TKB.
Right, we just wanted to just show there's like a few different options that someone could use in the event of a car abduction. Now, when it comes to car abduction, you have no lateral control, meaning you can't run left or right. You can't run away. You can't. Your movement is restricted. So therefore, there's not much you could do. So in other words, the first step is always to see if you could avoid it. Don't get in the car. Use your wisdom. Use your wisdom, discernment. If you can't and you're already in the scenario, right? First thing is to do is to use muscle memory, right, to recall what you've learned. If you can't do that, third-party objects, pin, purse, seat belt, different things like those. All right. So the main thing I would always say in a car abduction is like you only have like about 20 seconds to actually act. Right. You only have like literally 20 seconds. If you don't, right, it's always the outcome is not going to be favorable. It's not going to be favorable. One of the things that people don't know as well, how you could also exercise muscle memory is by actually engaging in non-threatening dialogue with your attackers and an assailant. So when you try to defuse the situation and engaging in non-threatening dialogue, you in other words, you make them feel okay. Well, they were expecting someone to just go hard, scream, to panic, and you're just cool. So when you're just cool, in other words, they will say, okay, well, all right, I wasn't expecting this, so they'll go the flow. They will still have their guards up, but then you'll be able to have more control of the situation, control of the emotions, control of what you're going to do, and how you're going to get out.
What is the ultimate objective for women out there for self-defense training, especially when it comes to awareness?
The ultimate objective, I would say, it's always to I would say to use your instincts. Yeah, use your instincts. Use, you know, they always say like women knows certain things that men don't, right? So women have a way of knowing when something is right and when something is wrong, and I would always suggest all women to follow that, right? Don't just, like, as I said with Otto inside, when we had the interview inside, sometimes women, they stay silent, right? They see a situation that they're not comfortable with and they allow it to progress, sometimes develop to their demise, unfortunately. So if it's something that you're not too pleased about, a driver is going on a detour and you're giving the driver the benefit of the doubt because you're thinking, okay, well, you told him where you're going, so he knows where you're going, so he's like, okay, well, probably he's just going and do this, or he's going to drop off something, or you're going to pick up something. If he's making a detour and you know that's not your route, say something. Say something, be assertive.
I noticed when, even as, not to cut you off, but when you was talking to Otto inside, you're saying clearly state the boundaries.
Yes.
Clearly state boundaries. And is there verbal boundaries that women could use in any particular scenario?
Yes, stay right there. Don't. No. Don't do that. Yeah. Right. So those are the clear indication that you could set your boundaries by saying those very assertive words. So when you do that, they know, okay, well, no, this is not a pushover, right? With my wife as well, I always tell her when she's walking on, you know, going down into Port of Spain or town, I would tell her, always keep your chest up, right? Don't slump down. Don't walk confident, walk assertive. So if someone is just randomly walking around and looking for some target, they will be like, okay, well, nah, she's looking a little too confident. She's looking like if she's gonna put up a fight, right? And they wouldn't even think twice. So that's a good way of setting boundaries. So you wouldn't even get in a situation where you have to deal with catcalling or deal with different things because they know, okay, well, yeah, that woman looking like a problem. All right. So I would suggest anyone who's looking at this, right? I mean, you may have your personality already. You may have how you feel. You may have different things that you think would affect how you respond to a scenario, but you can't possibly use your confidence or build some confidence in yourself. And I believe getting into classes or even going on YouTube, finding friends, educating yourself, and even if YouTube, if you can't come to a class, as I said, go to YouTube, educate yourself, build self-confidence in yourself and who you are.
And sticking with the topic, I know we kind of touch on different points, but it's really just essentially to get information out there to a female audience out there. If you see any InsipreTT content, take a little share at the bottom of the page. Let's get the content growing and let's build our community. But going back to my point, how important it is, you think, especially for women in these times, to become aware, call someone, tell them, hey, I just jumped in the car, this is the number plate.
Yeah.
We expect it to be here in 15 minutes. How important it is for women, in your opinion, as a man? And you have a wife too as well. I have a wife. Otto have a wife. How important is it for us to have that open communication so that we could at least see 15 minutes and wifey in reach home, call her. You know, how important is for that communication, especially for females?
I think it's extremely important because sometimes we just take it for granted. You're accustomed going on a particular route, you're thinking it's fine, but I mean, just recently I was washing my car in Cunupia from a client, and just like basically I was washing the car, and it was simply a detour. People only, my wife only know I went to the client in Cunupia, but after that, she's thinking I'm coming home. As a man, I could have probably say, okay, well, alright, now I just handle my business. You know, I just doing what I doing, small thing, you know, and you know, God forbid something could have happened, it would have been harder to trace. So I think it not only applies to men, but for women. Sometimes we think, okay, we're grown, we're independent, we're strong, and you think, okay, well, I don't need to tell anybody because I pay my bills, I do different things. But sometimes you have to just be a little more responsible, right? Be more responsible, and you're gonna help yourself in the long run. So it's not like if you're letting someone know where your whereabouts are, and someone is being in your business, but you're actually being more responsible, and in the event something happens, you know there's a trail.
How could women build their confidence and not be fearful? Because I notice even with the candlelight vigil, there's a lot of women coming out who have been abused or are victim of abuse, and you could sense a level of fear and a level of anger in them. How would you advise them to control that fear and being able to have that instinct to know how to react?
Good breathing exercises, it helps. Within a scenario, it helps within a scenario. So me personally, what I would do, like I would prepare myself mentally. So like I know my personality. I know this is a feature, an interview. I know where my shortcomings are, like where people could get to me, like mentally, right? So everyone's been bullied. Like I've been bullied when I was growing up. So I mean, certain things are sensitive to me that may not be sensitive to you, and different other things. So you have to prepare yourself mentally. What is your threshold? What is your, how you call it, your pain threshold, emotional pain threshold. So what I would tell all women as well is to prepare yourself mentally. If you know you have a shortcoming and you know you're fearful of going out at night, or you think something's going to happen to you, you're not going to put yourself out there, but you're going to prepare yourself mentally. Okay, if there's something that I'm fearful of, I have to know how to manage it. I have to know how to deal with it, and that's how you overcome it. You don't wait to yourself to be in that situation and then you realize, okay, well now, it's winning again. You know? Okay,
cool. So now we're gonna change gears a little bit.
Yeah, change gears. Well, it's automatic, yeah. So that's how we changing gears. With the clutch. Yeah.
You see, he's very aware of his situation and his environment. So he's walking and talk to that. But we're gonna change things up. I think we're gonna do one or two scenarios just to kind of give more information of the simple techniques that can help build your confidence, so that when you travel, if you do have to travel, if you do have to use a vehicle and you feel unsafe, for you women out there to be able to be confident enough that you can take measures and can take action that could probably save your life. Stay tuned. Yeah, welcome back to InsipreTT. Before we move forward, you can share the video at the bottom of the screen. Quickly, let's see this scenario just to help build confidence, so you out there to understand what it means to be aware of your environment and the actions a woman can take in order to help save her own life.
Alright, so we're going to go through two scenarios, alright? So one with your hand. So one of them will be, we're just going to do a Gable Grip, alright? So she's going to come over, alright? And pull, alright? And tuck it in here. Okay? And tap, alright? So that's like literally you have like about 8 to 10 seconds before you go unconscious, alright? So normally a Gable Grip, it's not like this, like a handshake, because if you try this here, like you're shaking your hands,
you can slip out.
You can pull, keep pulling, pull, slip in, alright? But give me here, and then twist here.
Twist.
Keep your thumbs together, sorry. Thumbs together.
Yeah.
Alright, and then twist.
Twist.
Alright, and then here. And try to pull your hands down. Pull it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so let's try again, Kelly. Alright, let's go pull. Alright, so you see how dreaded that?
You're trading Kelly?
Yeah,
Trinidad, Kelly.
That was the day, lights out, alright?
Yeah.
So in the event that doesn't work, so third party object, so it's going to use a seat belt, okay? A seat belt,
Before we move into the next scenario, I noticed that you got to tuck your head in. Why is that?
Right, so you tuck your head in, so obviously the driver is going to try to pull, right? Trying to get pull it here, pull something. Right, obviously, alright, so you're tucking in, it's basically to protect yourself from anything, alright? So
is this something that Kelly does while the driver driving? I mean...
Well, that's a good question, because you want to look at speed levels as well. So if the driver is on the highway, it may not be prudent to do that, right? Because chances are you're going to crash the car, you're going to injure yourself. So probably slow to medium paces, probably more where people are exposed, alright? So the main thing I always say, self-defense, is self-defense, not self-offense. You don't want to try to kill the person. You're just trying to get enough to get away.
Why I ask that question? Because I know when you spoke to Otto in his interview, you say it's very important for you to be aware of yourself and the environment too as well.
Yeah.
And those are the factors that could help save your life.
Correct.
And that's why I asked the question, because obviously, as you rightly say, logically, if it is on the highway and you do that move,
automatic crash.
Automatically, everybody might survive.
Everybody in hospital.
I hear you.
Yeah.
All right, so we can move on to the second
Right, so the
scenario.
second one, she's going to use the seat belt, so third-party objects. Now, this is just an example. We encourage everyone, always look around. So sometimes it could be a mat, it could be a screw, it could be something that could probably help you in your defense, your escape. So always be aware, engage in non-threatening dialogue. So you don't want to be looking around, moving around. Obviously, it's like, hey, look here, what's going on there? Is she moving? You know, just disarm, talk, right? So we're gonna try seat belt. With that being said, so she's gonna do a seat belt. Let's go. Yeah, slow.
Yeah, let's do it slow.
Right. Cross, inverted grip, cross grip, and pull. Right there.
Yeah.
All right. So we have let's slow it down again. Let's go. All right. So you wanna make sure you don't wanna pull too tight, right? So this is the more different cars have different. Like the pulley was locked.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure pull certain way. Don't wanna be too close because it might whatever.
Might lock on you.
Lock
okay.
on you. Alright, so cross, let's go again, Kelly. Let's go. Across, pull, over, and here. Alright, and pull. So you gotta make sure here, knuckles up, knuckles down, and twist. Right? We call it something in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Right? So Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is more or less self-defense for small people. I always call it that. Alright, so you can go YouTube it, different things. If you just wanna, get some knowledge, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Alright? So knuckles up here. Alright, cross. And
So
right? So one knuckle up,
one knuckle up, right?
and one knuckle down.
And one knuckle
Alright?
down, right?
And two. This is just one scenario. There's so many different other things, right? Multiple attackers, someone coming to you with a gun to your head, out your window. There's so many different variables that we could possibly use, right? But self-defense is always it's a very exclusive thing, all right? It makes no sense if you just, you could go YouTube and pull up anything, right? But it makes sense to kind of, once you know it, right, get into, we always say, get into credible schools. Some people can't come to Valsing because they're from South, or they're from Port of Spain, or they have their different things going on. Just get into something in your close area, do some research, and get into a credible martial arts school.
Kelly, as a woman who went through the training process, how do you feel knowing that you have this particular knowledge?
I feel a little more confident in just, walking the road and doing what I need to do. That does not say that, everything is fine, but at least, I'm aware. I'm more aware of my surroundings. And even if something was supposed to happen, ahead of time, I am calm, emotionally kind of fit to know exactly, what am I supposed to do, and just aware of my surroundings. So definitely more confident.
What would be your words of advice to help the confidence level of the women out there? Because obviously life has to go on. There would be people in different scenarios, traveling, that kind of stuff. What would be your words of advice to women out there who have life has to go on and are in different scenarios to give them the confidence to know they are in control of their own space and their own environment?
Right. I would really just reiterate the fact of being aware of your surroundings. You would hear it time and time again, and it will just play on like a broken record, but definitely that's the first key. Be always aware of your surroundings. Don't go on your phone while you're on your taxi stand or you're walking. If somebody's coming up to you, people coming up to you, always be aware, look them in the eye and all these things. That will kind of deter or delay any kind of process that somebody may be thinking of doing. And myself, I spoke about it before. I was in a scenario where it was a possible abduction. It was quite scary, but I was able to not let the person and the other possible abductors know, and just started looking around to see about, the door clip and everything, if I had to jump out. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, you were saying in the interview earlier on how important it is to be aware is one aspect too as well, but also to control fear and to control that panicking.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is scary. It is scary. It's a real thing, but to control the fear is definitely an important thing, because you will get them a little more heightened when you start to panic more and stuff. So just try your best and keep in a controlled manner. Yeah.
And with that, I'd like to say thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Gracie, for being here on InsipreTT. I like the information, and I hope that somebody out there understands, retain the information, and be able to action the information if they're ever in a situation or scenario like this. The aim of our objective is to get the right information to you guys. I think you all are doing great work. Thanks for bringing that information to the wider public too as well, and building a relationship with us so that we could reach a wider audience here on InsipreTT. I'm sorry that you were in a situation that something like that.
That's real.
It's very good to understand that you understand and have the awareness to be able to protect yourself, and ultimately that thing save your life, your own life, you know. And I hope that this information helps you guys out there. Continue to like InsipreTT, continue to like the page. If it is that you want to see new and interesting content, you could go over to the InsipreTT page where we have loads of content. It might not be this particular topic, but I'm sure we could have content that's relatable to you. Thanks for us. Thanks to Otto behind the camera. Thanks to you guys for viewing. Take care from us here on InsipreTT.